Call this meeting to order. Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Home News Tribune, the Asbury Park Press, the Board Office, the schools, and on Cablevision 118 and Verizon Fios Channel 24, and by filing such notice with the Township Clerk. The meeting was scheduled for Thursday, January 5th, 2023. The board will take formal action on agenda items. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Weber. The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of this state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that that act of recording does not interfere with the business of this public board meeting. Therefore, the board makes it known that any such recording is to be considered the private recording of the individual and in no manner represents the official record of this board. The board therefore takes no responsibility for such private recording and completely disavows any future use. Ms. Burns? Ms. Callie?
Here.
Ms. Francisco?
Here.
Mr. Giordano?
Here.
Ms. Lent?
Present.
Mr. Marquetta?
Present.
Mr. Slade?
Here.
Mr. Solikowski? Here. Mr. Weber? Quorum exists.
Pledge of allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Three-year vote getters: Jennifer Antonio for 6,194 votes, Marjorie L. Jadri, 4,549, Salvatore Giordano, 4,471, and for the one-year term, Devinder Singh, 7,765.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Generally, I just summarize what will happen over the next few minutes for the board members and for the residents. Mr. Weber just announced who the winners of the election were. What will happen next is I will swear each new board member in at the podium, starting with the three-year term candidates and then the one-year term. Then after each of the new board members are sworn in, we will do a new roll call of the newly constituted board. At that point, I will open the hearing up to the residents for any comments on anything that has to do with the agenda. After those comments, I would still be acting as the board president, and I will take nominations for the board president and for the board members, and especially for the new board members. Any member may place a member's name in nomination. A second is not required for the nomination of the president, and a member who has been nominated may also decline that nomination as president. I will then conduct a roll call, and whoever is the first vote getter to receive the required number of votes will become the new board president. Then the new board president will assume the position of president and take the responsibility and take the meeting from that point forward. Following that schedule, I would like to meet Mrs. Jennifer D'Antonio at the podium, please.
I, Jennifer D'Antuno, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Jennifer D'Antuno, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of the member of the Board of Education, and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to law or disqualification from membership due to conviction of any crime or offense as listed by law, and that I faithfully and impartially and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. Again, congratulations, Ms. D'Antonio. Mrs. Marjorie Jotry.
I, Marjorie Jodry, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Marjorie Jodry, do so solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to law or disqualified from membership due to conviction of any crime or offense as listed by law, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations and welcome. Mr. Giordano.
I, Salvatore Giordano, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Salvatore Giordano, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to law or disqualified from membership due to conviction of any crime or offense as listed by law, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations and welcome. Mr. Devinder Singh. I won't be able to spell it. I, Devinder Singh, do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Devinder Singh, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualification
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office
for the office
of a member
of the member
of a Board of Education,
of a Board of Education,
that I am not
that I am not
disqualified as a voter
disqualified as a voter
pursuant to law
pursuant to the law
or disqualified from membership
or disqualified from the membership
due to conviction
due to conviction
of any crime
of any crime
or offense
or offense
as listed by law,
as listed by law,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of that office
of that office
according
according
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations and welcome to the board. And I would just like to say thank you for the former board members that are leaving for the service that you've provided to the school district. So we will do a roll call of the newly constituted board. Ms. D'Antono,
Present.
Mr. Giordano,
Here.
Ms. Jodry,
Present.
Ms. Lent,
Present.
Mr. Marqueta,
Here.
Mr. Singh, Mr. Slade,
Here.
Mr. Solikowski, Mr. Weber. Quorum exists. So as the process continues, I will be taking nominations for the board president, but at this point, I'll open the meeting up to hearing of the residents. If anyone would like to go to the podium, make any comments, anything on the agenda, you are welcome to at this point during the meeting. Okay, seeing no one approaching the podium, we will move on to the nominations.
I would like to nominate Salvador Giordano for president, the Old Township Board of Education, the year 2020.
So Mr. Solikowski nominated Mr. Sal Giordano for the president. Are there any other nominations for president?
I nominate Lisa Len for president.
Are there any other nominations for president? Seeing no other nominations, we will do the first roll call vote. Now, Mr. Parton, just to clarify, so if Mr. Giordano receives 5 votes, we're done.
Then the process is over, yes, because you have all 9 members. So the first nominee, you call them in their order that they were nominated, and the first person to get 5 is the president.
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Solikowski nominated Mr. Giordano. The roll call vote will be Ms. D'Antonio, yes or no?
No.
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Jodry,
No.
Ms. Lent,
No.
Mr. Marqueta,
Yes.
Mr. Singh. We're voting for the board president, nominated by Mr. Solikowski, and he nominated Mr. Giordano. The answer, your vote, Mr. Singh's vote is yes. Mr. Slade,
No.
Mr. Solikowski,
Yes.
Mr. Weber. The count for Mr. Giordano as the board president is 5 votes yes, 4 votes no. Congratulations, Mr. Giordano, you're the new president of the board. And now Mr. Giordano will assume the board, will assume the position of president and run the board meeting. Thank you.
And I will now open the nominations for Vice President.
So Mr. Weber nominated Mr. Silikowski for Vice President.
Are there any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Jay Slade.
And Mrs. Lent nominated Mr. Slade.
And are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will close the nominations.
So roll call, Mr. Weber made a motion to nominate Mr. Silikowski for Vice President. Roll call will be Mrs. D'Antonio,
No.
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Jodry,
No.
Ms. Lent,
No.
Mr. Marqueta,
Yes.
Mr. Singh. For Mr. Silikowski. So Mr. Singh votes yes. Mr. Slade,
No.
Mr. Silikowski,
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Silikowski, you're the new Vice President.
Okay, moving on. Finance Resolutions 1, 2, and 3. Can I get a motion?
Lent will move it.
Any discussions? Hearing none, roll call.
Ms. D'Antonio,
Yes.
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Jodfrey,
Yes.
Mrs. Lent,
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta,
Yes.
Mr. Singh, Mr. Slade,
Yes.
Mr. Silikowski, Mr. Weber, and Mr. Giordano.
Yes.
Resolutions 1, 2, and 3 pass.
Okay, Supplies, Equipment, and Services, items 1 and 2. Can I get a motion?
Lent will second.
Any discussions? Hearing none, roll call.
Ms. D'Antonio,
Yes.
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Jodfrey,
Yes.
Mrs. Lent,
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta,
Yes.
Mr. Singh, Mr. Slade,
Yes.
Mr. Silikowski, Mr. Weber, Mr. Giordano.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 and 2 pass.
Board Secretary and Board Business, items 1 and 2. Can I get a motion?
Lent will move it.
Marqueta will second.
Excuse me, Mr. Giordano, there are no motions for this one. This is a mandatory requirement that the board secretary review with all the board members the code of ethics, which they must abide by. And at the end of me reviewing all the code of ethics, at this public meeting, if any of the board members have any questions about any of the provisions of the code of ethics, they can direct them to Mr. Parton. He will make clarification on any of those particular items. And also, I will, in your packet, there is a certification that you need to sign and provide to me by the end of the meeting, stating that you have reviewed the code of ethics at a public board meeting. So move the board acknowledge receipt of the code of ethics by each school board member, the reading thereof by the school business administrator, and subsequent discussion thereof. In accordance with NJSA 18A:12-24, every board member will abide by the following code of ethics. The board member will, number 1, uphold and enforce all laws, rules, regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes shall be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures. Number 2, make decisions in terms of the educational welfare of children and seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing. Number 3, confine his or her board action to policy making, planning, and appraisal, and to help frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them. 4, carry out his or her responsibility not to administer the schools, but together with fellow board members ensure that they are well run. Number 5, recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and make no personal promises nor take any private action that may compromise the board. Number 6, refuse to surrender his or her independent judgment to special interest or partisan political groups, or to use the schools for personal gains or for the gain of friends. Number 7, hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools, which, if disclosed, would needlessly injure individuals or the schools. In all other matters, he or she will provide accurate information in concert with fellow board members, interpret to the staff the aspirations of the community for its school. Number 8, vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief School Administrative Officer. And number 9, support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties. And number 10, refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and act on the complaints at public board meetings only after failure of an administrative solution. So those are the 10 code of ethics that need to be complied with by each board member. If any board member has any questions about any of the 10 provisions, please direct those questions to Mr. Parton at this point. Okay, thank you, Mr.
So roll call.
Did we get the motions? I'm sorry.
Yes, Lent motioned and Marqueta seconded.
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Godfrey,
Yes.
Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Singh, Slade,
Yes.
Mr. Solikowski, Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. Giordano.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 and 2.
And I will open up now to the hearing of residents on any school district issue. Seeing none, I will close the hearing of residents. Any old business by any board members? Any new business by any board members? Okay, well, I would like to thank the Board of Education for selecting me as their president, and I'd like to congratulate Mr. Solikowski for becoming vice president. And I look forward to working with this new Board of Education, and I will be asking over the next week what committees they want to be on and what chairs they want, and hopefully that'll be done by next week at the agenda session or the regular meeting. Thank you. Do we have executive session?
We do have executive session. We have a brief discussion under attorney-client privilege and property security. And just to clarify, Mr. Giordano, the board will be back out only to adjourn the meeting, so this is the end of the public portion.
Okay. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Lent will move it.
Marqueta seconds.
All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? We're going into executive session at 7:54.